But for now, just remember that squats, hips below the knees, deadlifts, hips above the knees. The body squat. Again, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're doing a squat using your own body weight. So I can and do plan to make videos dealing with just squatting on its own because it's such a diverse and huge complex topic that we really could go for days on it. But I'm going to give you the gist of it right here. All you need to know is you need to push your knees out, sit between your hips, and keep your torso upright. If you can remember those three things, you will get the body squat down on lock fast. See how I'm pushing my knees out here, and I'm sitting between my hips. I'm not bending over or leaning, and I'm keeping my torso upright. Now, as you can see here, I'm pushing my knees out, I'm sitting between my hips, and then I'm bringing my arms forward and up a tad. What I'm actually doing here is by bringing my arms forward, I'm opening up my shoulders, upper back, and giving my scapula a nice stretch. You hear me talk about the scapula all the time, and this is another fantastic example of a movement that uses it in a way that you're probably not expecting. So by reaching my arms forward and up here at the bottom of the squat, I'm getting a really good stretch and full range of motion using my entire body. So as I reverse the range of motion here and return to the starting position, what I'm actually doing is pushing the floor away while keeping as much tension in my legs as possible. Then I'm bringing my hips forward by squeezing my glutes. Now I'm going to take a minute here to explain something additional about the squat that is super important to understand. Ready? Notice how my hip crease is at least parallel with my knee crease, if not lower. Okay? That's a squat. You need to have your hips at least parallel to your knees, if not ideally lower. Okay, why do I mention this? Because I'm going to show you the difference between a squat and a deadlift right now. With a squat, your hips drop below your knees. With a deadlift, your hips stay above your knees. Okay? That's because a deadlift is not a squat. It's a hip hinge. There's a big difference here. With a squat, you're dropping your hips down below your knees into a fuller range of motion. Whereas with a deadlift, you're sticking your hips back almost like a slingshot, and you're going to fire your hips forward in a shorter range of motion. The difference here is you can load more weight with a deadlift because you're traveling a shorter distance. This is why the deadlift is usually called the king of lifts, or most people can lift the most amount of weight that they can physically lift from this position. I plan on doing a video in depth on both of these movements and more of the things that differentiate them and things you really need to know about both of them in the future. But for now, just remember that squats, hips below the knees, deadlifts, hips above the knees. Also, if you haven't, folks, please smash that subscribe button and be sure to hit that notification bell as well. That way you don't miss a single bit of No BS content. For your time, this is Jason from No BS Health and Fitness and NoBSFitLosophy.com. As always, thank you for your time. We'll see you next video.